Hello and welcome in. Mark here, aka the Markster. This is video number 55 in the FreeCAD series. Today we're going to continue looking at the part design workbench, and in particular we're going to look at this pad and this pocket operation. These two features. We're going to focus on those today. It'll be a fairly short video. Let me show you which version I'm using. This is 0.19, revision number 20036 on Windows 10. Some folks are wondering, how do you get the 0.19? So let's go over to the FreeCAD website. It's the freecadweb.org. Let's just go to the main site and start from there. If you click download now and you click on one of these, you're going to get 0.18 today. This is March 21st, 2020. You're going to get one of the latest stable releases. If you keep moving down, look for development versions and click here. This brings you to GitHub releases page. Keep scrolling down. You'll see assets. You might have to expand this. And these are the files containing 0.19. I'm using Windows, so what I do is I come download this LP version. That's a 7Z file. I unzip that with the 7-zip utility. Open that folder. Look for the bin folder. Go into the bin folder. Look for FreeCAD.exe. That's the executable to use. There's no need to install. I generally create a shortcut on the taskbar right here. There's a Conda version, and there is the libpack version. So the Conda, I don't know a lot about it, but it's kind of a what's the word I'm looking for here? Kind of an environment that's created where Conda can manage your packages for you. Unlike in Windows, you'd have to maintain each of the dependencies separately. So that's what this libs file is, this member here. Not sure how to pronounce that, but he compiled all these FreeCAD dependencies, put them into this one file, into a lib file. And now when people want to compile FreeCAD on Windows, they can reference these pre-compiled libraries. Whereas Conda manages those packages automatically. Again, I don't know much about it. The Mac version, this is a DMG file you would install as you normally would. The app image is for Linux. You do not extract this. You download the file, mark it executable, and execute it. Let's go back to FreeCAD. Part design, I'm going to create a new sketch on the XY plane. Now I'm just trying to demonstrate the pad function. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time even constraining the sketch. I'm not trying to make a model in particular, just something to demonstrate this feature. That should be good enough. and then we choose pad. So I'm going to switch to the model view. You can switch to the different tabs here, and I'm going to press space bar on the sketch, so the sketch is now visible. That'll help us see the difference between reversed, symmetric. So reversed reverses the direction. Symmetric means you're padding in both directions simultaneously, half in each direction. So 5 millimeters in this case, forward and reversed. You can pad to a dimension. By default that's 10, or you can use 2 dimensions. So 10 in one direction and by default 100 in the other. And we also have to last, to first, and up to face. We'll have to come back and explain what those are with a different sketch. We'll create a new sketch, this time on the XZ plane. And this time I'm going to make a circle. Right there. Again, this is not a particular model. We're just demonstrating the pad feature. So we'll select the sketch, click pad, and again we'll see the dimension and reverse and symmetric. Okay, so what does to last mean? Well, to last means you're padding to the last face in that direction. Now if I select this, I'm going to get an error because there are no faces in that direction. But if I click reverse, to last, pads out to the last face. And there's an offset parameter, so we can offset in either direction. That's the last, that's the first face you come across, not counting the one you're already on. There is no to second or to third. It's the first or the last. Or you can select a particular face. Even this face would work. See what it did? This face is not perfectly perpendicular. There's a little angle to it. So it went out until it met with that face extending it out. So this face is on the same plane as this face. Now if it's perpendicular, it's not going to work because it would need to go an infinite amount of distance. And it still would never, it would still never find that plane. So that's up to a face, and that works great. It's fantastic. But you do have a concern with the topological naming issue. Let's set this face. So this is face 11. out to face 11. Now, anytime you see a reference to face 11, edge 12, vertex 3, anything with a number, you could be in trouble with topological naming if you come back later, back up the history tree, and modify the sketch that produced the pad that you're linking to. So we've got a link to pad to face 11. So if later we came up here and started making some changes, let's just say we're going to make some fillets here. Seems harmless enough, doesn't it? Add a few fillets. What could that hurt? Now our model is broken. We got an error and we're no longer updating. These fillets are not even showing up. Right? The fillets are not showing up. Let me hide that pad and show the original pad. You see we're supposed to have fillets in here. They're not being recomputed. Once you get an error, no more recomputing is done. So you get these errors. So why are we getting that error? Well, we're trying to pad to face 11 and we can't, because now it's not, must not be parallel to extrude direction. Pad 8. Pad 3, face 3. So what was face 11 is now face 3 because we've renamed these faces when we added more faces to the object. And I'm still trying to find, this must be pad face 7. There's face 11. So face 11 is parallel to the pad direction. That's why we can't use that as a face. But it was not what we intended. We wanted this out to here. So it's just to show you that topological naming issue can come back and bite you if you try to pad out to a face. So avoid using that. Here we are. Of course, you can go back and fix it just by reselecting the desired face. So as long as you know what might happen and how to go about fixing it, I guess it's okay to use it. It's just if you have a really complicated model, it can be a lot harder to find where the problem is. So try to avoid these topo naming issues. Now, so how do we do this? Well, in this particular case, just go to the last face if that's what you want. And that'll be more robust. Let me delete this. Open the sketch. Let's use undo. Let me delete this. Let's see if we can undo the these things. Alright. It keeps giving errors. Can't undo because I'm undoing. There you go. Alright. So instead of saying up to face, if we had done to last, we would be more robust when we go back in and start adding these fillets. Because there's always going to be a last face. Unless you make a change that now there are no more last faces. Alright. So we haven't broken the model. We use a more robust method. To first face, to last face. More robust than to a particular face. Alright. Another thing I'd like to cover with the pad is not only can we pad sketches, we can also pad faces. For example, we could select this face and pad that face out. We could even select a non-planar face and pad it out. This is great. This is wonderful. This works fantastically well. But again, topo naming issue. You put yourself in danger of having that come back to haunt you later on if you go back up and make changes to these sketches that change the number of faces on this object. You still be padding face 24 if face 24 still exists, but it might be face 24 might be this face now or this face now if you go back and make changes to these sketches, to the sketch here in particular. So I would suggest avoid padding faces unless you just need to and you understand the possible consequences and how to go about fixing the problem. Well, that's going to be it for today. Nice and short. We just focused on pad today. We'll look at revolve and these others in later videos. Just remember the different options that you have. You can pad to a particular dimension. You can pad to a particular face, but it's not generally recommended. But to first face or to last face, that's fairly robust. I think that's safe enough to do without fear of topological naming issues. You can pad a face, but you're going to run into trouble possibly by doing that. Try to find another way. This bit here was kind of a difficult thing to produce in a different way if this is what you need. So maybe it makes sense to pad a face in this particular case. But just be aware that it can cause problems later on. Alright, well that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.